You remember the Taliban, the ones that George Bush would host in Texas from time to time, the ones that we supported in their war against Afghanistan. But the most exploitive reason that these so-called liberals or peace people give me is that we have to be in Afghanistan to save the women. And that's exactly what Laura Bush said. So did they agree with Laura Bush when she was saying it for the past 8 years? Or did they all of a sudden have an epiphany that we need to be there to save the women? Now, look at me. I'm a raging humanist. I don't even say I'm a feminist. I'm a humanist. I think everybody's rights need to be protected. It doesn't matter what you look like or what you look like or what gender you are or whatever. Everybody's rights need to be protected. But as a peace activist, I don't think using the U.S. military to kill women and children is a good use to protect women. It's not a good use of the U.S. military. And if we were there to save the women, why aren't we in Saudi Arabia? Why aren't we in the Congo? Why aren't we in South America or Thailand? Why aren't we in Thailand where big U.S. businessmen go and rape little girls and boys to protect them? Why aren't we in South America where slaves, women and children, construct our crappy products? Or China, or wherever. Why aren't we in the inner cities in America protecting women and children? Or protecting the children of women? So that's just, if anybody came here to ask me that question, you don't have to now. Because I just answered it. And then after I go through all of this with them, I say besides all that, if you believe that Afghanistan was for anything but a pipeline, if you believe that Afghanistan was about anything but for profit for the military-industrial complex, for the Rogers class, did you support it when George Bush was president? 100% of the time they say no. So this is my point. My point isn't whether it's a Democrat or a Republican. It's the system. It's the military-industrial complex. It's Wall Street. It's the bankers. It's the media. Or did you just say media? We're on the same track, sister. Yeah, it's the media. It's all of these things collaborating together to keep us oppressed, to keep us poor, to keep us funneling our children so they can fight in robber class wars. And I have many people that email me and they say, Cindy, you're such a hypocrite. Now these are so-called people on the right. I realize that the left-right paradigm makes no sense anymore. But just for our speech tonight, when I say the right, I mostly mean Republican Bush supporters. When I say the left, I mostly mean Democrat Obama supporters. And I don't even know where I am on that spectrum. If Hillary Clinton's on the left, then where's Cindy Sheehan? So those things don't make sense. Those labels don't make sense to me anymore. But people on the right will even email me. And they'll say, Cindy, you're such a hypocrite. Because you were, protesting George Bush's wars. You were protesting Iraq and Afghanistan or whatever when George Bush was president. But you're not protesting them when Obama's president. And I say, first of all, you're not paying attention. Because I have been one of Obama's earliest and most ardent critics. Because I actually listened to what he said, not the way he said it. And then, secondly, did you support the wars under George Bush? Did you support George Bush? Then you're the one that should be supporting Obama. And if you're not, then that makes you the hypocrite. Mm-hmm. But then I want to say that on the left, too, is that we have to criticize the policies. We have to struggle against the policies. You can like Obama. I've met Obama. he can't do anything. He's only one man. And I said, well, but he is doing things. He's sending more troops to Afghanistan. We're bombing Pakistan with drones. He's still supporting Israel in the occupation of Gaza and Palestine. You know, he's still doing things. He is doing things, but there's no change. There's no change in direction. And so if you say that Obama can't do anything because he's just one person, then you have to extend that courtesy to Bush. And so the problem in this country, from what I see, and I'm just speaking in general terms, I'm not speaking specifically because there are always exceptions, is that we focus on the personality. For 8 years, 8 long years, we loved to hate. We loved to hate George Bush and Dick Cheney. We loved it. And don't tell me you didn't. And now, we love to love. We love to love hope. We love to love change. But there's no change. There's no hope for change. Because we're focusing on personalities, not on their policies, not on the system. Maybe, just maybe, the President of the United States, no matter if he's a Republican or Democrat, is just a figurehead for the system. So I struggled with all of these, and trust me, I don't like George Bush. He's not high on my list to invite over for tea. He didn't invite me over for tea. So why should I invite him over? But anyway, after I ran against Nancy Pelosi, and I was being excoriated roundly and seriously and thoroughly by people on the left and the right and the middle for I was either a hypocrite or, shame on you for not giving him a chance. He's been president now for 7 months almost. 6 months, almost 7 months. Somebody just counted how many people have died in Iraq and Afghanistan since he's been president. That I don't have the direct number, but it's astonishing. So I'm in my bed one night, thinking, worrying, trying to come up with something about how do people of peace, how do people who want peace and justice. Justice is just as important to me as peace. I think unless George Bush and Dick Cheney are held accountable in their administration, those things are just going to keep rolling and rolling and rolling. So how do we be relevant in a post-Bush, current Obama situation? And then I was thinking, what makes us send our children to war? Because already enlistment has risen, partially because some people, now are buying into the system because we have a regime change, but mostly I think because of the economy, and there's no options for our young people. So how do we be relevant in the system? And why do we keep sending our children off to fight their wars? I'm telling you, Iraq and Afghanistan were wrong when Bush was president, and they're wrong today.